How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And for the build in this video, we're going to be having unlimited grapples and also unlimited unraveling rounds on your strand weapons. And also having infinite woven mail just by activating your grapple. And in order for this build to work, we would need to be using this exotic helmet called the Sartarshine's Facade. And here's the armor perk for this exotic helmet. It's called Acrobat's Focus. Gain woven mail when activating grapple. Increased flinch resistance while woven mail is active. And if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit that like button and also subscribe if you like more Destiny 2 builds. The dim link will also be in the link in the description if you're interested in this build. And as always, let's get right into it. For the Hunter subclass, it's called the Thread Runner. And the only super ability is Silk Strike. And the base cooldown is 9 minutes and 16 seconds. Now let's head to the abilities. For the first ability is the class ability called Gambler's Dodge. Dodge to perform a deft tumble, avoiding enemy attacks. Dodging near enemies fully recharges your melee ability. And also for the movement ability, you can choose any movement ability you would like, but for me, I would prefer triple jump. And the only strand melee we have currently is Threaded Spike. Throw a rope dart that bounces between targets, damaging and servering them. The dart will return to your hand once it's done, returning melee energy to you for each target hit, just as the dart gets back to you to catch it and increase the amount of energy returned. While doing this, you would also inflict server. The target's connections to the world around them are cut, and their outgoing damage is significantly reduced. Servered targets unwind into tangle when defeated. The main use for this build that you're going to be using is the strand grenade called the Grapple. Weave a grapple hook and quickly pull yourself forward. Grappling to a tangle immediately recharges your grenade energy. During and shortly after grappling, your melee attack deals area damage and unravels targets. By unraveling a target is permitted with destructive strand matter. As they take additional damage, they create unraveled projectiles that seek out nearby targets. Unraveling rounds from your strand weapons pierce the shields of anti-barrier champions and also stuns them. Unraveled targets unwind into tangle when defeated. And you're going to be having 2 grapple charges because of this aspect called Widow's Silk. You have an additional grenade charge. Your grapple creates a grapple tangle at the grapple point. And the second strand aspect that we currently have is Ensnaring Slam. Activate your airborne move to consume your class ability energy and dive to the ground, suspending all nearby targets on impact. Using this ability extends the class ability cooldown time. While suspending a target is mobilized by a web of strand matter, lifting them in the air while suspended. Guardians are unable to move freely, combatants are unable to move or fire their weapon, and unstoppable champions are stunned as well. Suspending targets unwind into tangled when destroyed. For the 4 strand fragments we have, the first one is called Thread of Continuity. Suspend, unravel, and server effects applied to targets have increased duration. The second strand fragment is Thread of Generation. This is going to be big for this build because you're mainly going to be relying on your grapple. It's because dealing damage generates grenade energy. The third strand fragment is called Thread of Propagation because this is going to be very good for your strand weapons, and we are going to be using 2 of them. By getting power melee final blows, it grants your strand weapons unraveling rounds. Now for the 4th and final strand fragment, it's called Thread of Isolation. This is going to be good for the SMG that I'm using for this build because landing rapid precision hits emits a servering burst from the target. Let's head to the strand SMG. It's called Syncrotic Roulette. And the weapon perks I was using is Keep Away. Increase reload range and accuracy when no combatants are in close proximity. Because the reload on this SMG is pretty bad, so by having this perk really helps it out. And the second perk is Hatchling. Precision final blows or rapidly defeating targets with non-precision weapons spawns a threadling at a target location. The energy weapon that you're going to be using is any Void fusion rifle, but for me, I would use No Composure because it comes with Feeding Frenzy. Each rapid kill with this weapon progressively increases reload speed for a short time, and also Reservoir Burst. When the battery is full, your next burst deals additional damage and causes enemies to explode on death. Why I chose this Void fusion rifle is because of the seasonal mod called Volatile Flow. Picking up an Orb of Power grants your Void weapons volatile rounds. The power weapon that you're going to be using for this build is from the Root of Nightmares raid called Corax's Distress. It's a strand grenade launcher, and I have it crafted, so what I put was Reconstruction. This weapon reloads itself at an improved rate over time up to double capacity. And the second perk is Hatchling. Precision final blows or rapidly defeating targets with a non-precision weapon spawns a threadling. At the target's location, improves handling. And to buff the Strand SMG and the Strand Grenade Launcher even more, we have the seasonal mods. The first one is Untangler. Destroying a tangle with a Strand weapon suspends targets damaged by the explosion. Next, we have Defiant Armory. Greatly improves the benefits provided by the Noble Deeds, Nanotech Tracer Rockets, Text Balance Stock, and Ambush Origin traits. Next is Allied Unraveling. Rapid final blows with a Strand weapon grants your weapons unraveling rounds with a longer duration near allies. The next one is Counter Weave. When you or your member of your fire team stuns or defeats a champion, you gain energy for your least charge Strand ability. And the best seasonal artifact mod you would need for this build is called Threaded Blast. Destroying a tangle with a Strand weapon creates a larger and more damaging explosion. And last but not least is Prismatic Transfer. When you cast your super, each member of your fire team with a subclass damage type different than yours gains a bonus to weapon damage. First, let's start with the helmet. For the helmet, you're going to be using Hands On. Gain bonus super energy on melee kills. Why I put this is because every time you would grapple and melee after, it counts as a melee kill. So every time you would melee an enemy, you will gain super energy. And the second armor mod is Harmonic Siphon. Rapid Strand weapon final blows creates an orb of power. And the last armor mod for the helmet is Heavy Ammo Finder. Increases the drop chance of heavy ammo on kill. Now for the gauntlets, the first armor mod is Heavy Handed. Your power melee final blows creates an orb of power. This also counts towards meleeing a combatant with your grapple. So every time you would grapple an enemy and melee them after, it counts as a melee kill. So you would get a orb of power every time you would do that. The second armor mod is Grenade Kickstart. When your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy. And how I'm able to decrease the armor energy cost for the Grenade Kickstart is by having the seasonal mod called Authorized Mod Grenades. The armor energy cost of all armor mods affecting your grenades are significantly discounted. And the last armor mod for the gauntlet is Strand Loader. Increases reload speed for your strand weapons. And of course, the SMG is atrocious when reloading. So by having this, it increases the reload speed. And how I was able to decrease the energy cost for my Strand Loader, it would originally cost 3, but how I decreased it to 1 is because of the seasonal artifact called Authorized Mod Strand. The armor energy cost of all armor mods affecting your strand weapons are significantly discounted. You can also get unlimited woven mail just by doing this. All you got to do is activate your first grapple, and then it creates a grapple point. Once that grapple point has been activated, use your secondary grapple to grapple onto that grapple point, and that grapple point will never disappear as long as you keep grappling it. And once you do, you're going to get infinite woven mail no matter what. Now for the chest armor. The first mod is Charged Up. Increases the amount of number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. The original armor charge you can carry is 3, but by having this, it would increase to 4. And the second armor mod slot is Solar Resistance. Reduces incoming solar damage from combatants. And the last armor mod is Void Resistance. Reduces incoming void damage from combatants. Now let's head to the leg armor as well. The first armor mod you are going to be using for the leg armor is Innervation. Reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. And the second armor mod for the legs is Stacks on Stacks. Picking up an orb of power grants you an additional stack of armor charge. So originally by picking up 1 orb of power, it would count as 1 armor charge. But with this armor mod, it would count as 2 armor charges whenever you pick up 1 orb of power. And the third and final armor mod for the leg armor is Recuperation. Replenishes health each time you pick up an orb of power, and by having a strand subclass, it's kind of hard to get healing out of this, so by having this, it would help you even more. Now let's head to the cloak armor. The first 2 armor mods you're going to be using is Bomber. Reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. And the third and final armor mod for the hunter cloak is Reaper. After using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. This mod would only count if you would use your gambler's dodge, but it won't work if you would use your ensnaring slam. If you're interested in another hunter build, check out this one. You're going to be able to buff your primary weapon, and you're going to be able to defeat anything in its path. Be sure to click on the screen right now. If you guys are excited for the next season of Destiny 2, be sure to hit that like button and also subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it because every time people would subscribe to the channel motivates me to make more Destiny 2 videos.